Hey, this is Rich Spencer, and this is your April edition of the Life Lessons blog. Today's lesson, overcoming obstacles. So what exactly are obstacles? Obstacles are defined as a thing that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders progress. Let me give it to you again. It's a thing that blocks one's way or prevents or hinders progress. Think about the obstacles that you face in your lifetime. As a matter of fact, let me give you guys a perfect example. I'm going to take it back to, at least for myself, childhood physical education days. That's right, the old gym classes. In the old gym classes, we had what was the obstacle course. And in the obstacle course, we set up different things at different stages and points in the gymnasium. Some we had to go over, some we had to go under, and of course there were some that we had to go through in order to get to the finish line. I think y'all missed it. I'm going to say it again. Some things you have to go over, some you have to go under, and some you have to go through to get to the finish line. And what we didn't realize as young boys and girls, as we're doing that and we're jumping over things and we're climbing under things and then we're running through things just to get to the finish line, didn't realize that was a valuable lesson, a valuable life lesson that we were being taught. We were being taught that at times you're going to come across things that would typically be called a stumbling block. And a stumbling block, of course, is something that's geared towards making you stumble, trip, fall. Another word for an obstacle to block your path or prevent or hinder your progress. So these stumbling blocks, things that you may have to jump over, could be anything. If you want a promotion at your job, there may be some other people vying for that same opportunity that, let's be real and be honest, you may have to, by your performance, hurdle those people. They meant to jump over them. And of course, there are times where there are things that we're going to have to go under. And as I said already, we're going to have to just power through, put our head down and just get through them. What are some of these things? They can be storms. We all recognize that there are going to be storms in this life that we'll go through. Storms can be just trials, tribulation. We can lose loved ones. We can lose jobs, possessions. We can have setbacks in our lives, in our career. You know, if we're competing in athletics, we may not win every time. May not win every race. You may not score every touchdown, hit every home run. Whatever it is, we have to realize that we are not going to win all the time. We would like to, and our desire is to succeed and win all the time. But the reality is some days we won't win. So what do? We continue to press on and move forward to figure out how we can overcome these obstacles. Whatever the obstacle is, we have to recognize that there is a particular way we can beat it. Like I said, over, under, and through. So we got to take a step back, analyze it, size it up, figure out what's the best course of action. Do I go around it? Do I go under it? Or can I just power through it? Whatever it is. We talked about promotions, other aspects in our lives, ministry, business, anything that you will go through in your life. There may be a given point in time where you have to struggle a bit. So let's talk about the benefit of obstacles. First and foremost, obstacles teach you lessons about yourself. When we're faced with obstacles, we have two choices. Number one, we can look at the obstacle and we can say, it's got me. I'm defeated. Can't win. And we can leave. Or we can take a look at that obstacle and say, you know what? You will not win. You will not get the victory over me. I'm going to figure out how to conquer this. And then we do whatever it takes to overcome that obstacle. So we learn something about ourselves. We learn, number one, as the saying goes, when the going gets tough, are we going to get going that way, or are we going to get going this way to the finish line towards success and overcome this obstacle? The second thing that's important about obstacles is obstacles slow us down. Listen, anybody ever been in a car driving, you're moving so fast and you're speeding, and something happens to slow you down. You don't know what it is. Maybe somebody cuts you off or whatever it may be. Slows you down. Only to find out a little further on down the line there was an accident or a state trooper or something happened that if you were still going at that same speed you would have been, you would have ran right into that danger. We don't even recognize sometimes these little obstacles, the things that are in front of us to prevent us or hinder our progress, are actually a blessing for us. and they hinder us in order to give us the victory and allow us to continue on. So we recognize the two things the obstacles do. First and foremost, teaches us a little bit about ourselves. We figure out our mental toughness, our physical toughness, and even our spiritual toughness. How do we handle when we're thrown something that we didn't expect? That obstacle that came out of nowhere, and now we had to figure out, how do I get to the other side? And then the second thing that's important, of course, is sometimes the obstacle slows us down, allows us to sort of take a step back and survey what's going on around us, analyze the situation, and if we do it the right way, and we analyze everything involved, then we'll get the victory, and we'll get to the other side of that obstacle, and we'll be better than we were before. The last thing I'm going to leave you with is the first stanza of one of my favorite poems. It's a poem called See It Through by Edgar A. Guest. When you're up against the trouble, meet it squarely face to face. Lift your chin and set your shoulders, plant your feet and take a brace. When it's vain to try to dodge it, do the best that you can do. You may fail, but you may conquer. See it through. One of the reasons why that's my favorite poem is because it's about life. It's about what do you do when you're up against trouble, when hope is futile, when the night is dark, when you're going through a storm, when there are things that you can't see the other side of. How do you get through them? You know how you get through them? You see it through. And that's what today's lesson is about. Overcoming obstacles. See it through. Getting to the other side of the storm. Getting to the point of success. Getting to a new level. Recognizing that an obstacle is there to block you, prevent you, and hinder your progress. But there are two things you can learn from that obstacle. Number one, you can learn about yourself. How tough you are. How mentally tough, physically tough, spiritually tough you are. And emotionally tough you are. And the second thing you can learn is when it's time to slow down, survey the situation around you, analyze everything, and then move forward. Overcoming obstacles is very important. Throughout your lifetime, you're going to face obstacles. You're going to fail exams. You're not going to do good on papers. You're not going to succeed in business ventures, in athletics, and so forth. But how do you respond? You respond by taking a look in the mirror, realizing who you are and whose you are, and recognizing that this obstacle, or storm if you will, is only there to hinder you from getting to the next level. And if you push through it, or if you go over or under, depending on whatever the obstacle is, if you fight through the storm, you'll get to success, which is waiting for you on the other side.